Wow. What up, y'all? This your boy DJ Rooster back at it again for some more basketball talk. This has been an interesting playoffs, you know what I'm saying? And as per usual, when one team goes down, oh, they're finished. You know how the media, the fans are. This team's finished. They're in trouble. They're done. They're cooked. And then, next game, they come blow them out. Oh, look, the other team, they're actually done and cooked. On the playoffs, it's the same thing. Uh, I guess I'll start off with Minnesota because most of this video I'm gonna be talking about Atlanta, New York. I'll be doing some shorts about maybe the other two games, Toronto and Cleveland versus and the Minnesota Timberwolves and Denver Nuggets. That's a great series. And it's so underrated, though. It's like nobody gives Ant credit for upsetting the Denver Nuggets. I think it was last season. The Nuggets have been going back and forth the season before that. I know they've been playing. I know they've been going back and forth. They've been playing each other every year in the playoffs. So this is like a low key rivalry, that people not really talking about. Nuggets, and what I picked the Timberwolves to win the series. I picked them to win the last game. I've been doing really good with my picks. Of course, but some of these teams are frauds. Once again, you got to start off with the playoff watch. Like dudes who've been trashing the playoffs most of their career, so you can't put too much stock in them. I told y'all James Harden gives you 2 good playoff games. I told y'all take the unders on Harden. I knew it was garbage, airballing. But not as trash as I would have expected. He wasn't good, but it wasn't like Harden trash. Well, I didn't see all of the games, so maybe he was worse in some places that I didn't see. I didn't even look at the stats yet. But I said upset. I picked Toronto with the upset. Now I did expect Brandon Ingram to do better, but like I said, I'll talk about those two another time. But with Jokic though, I will bring up Jokic, and we're doing the same thing. Like I said before, not just with teams but with players. People jerking off Jokic like he's the greatest thing ever, and I was a Jokic fan. I'm still a Jokic fan, but not as hard as I used to be back, in the fantasy basketball days of him and Paul Millsap and running things. See, I don't know about that. See, Jokic was a beast before y'all even realized. See, Jokic really is on the tail end of his prime. People think Jokic got another 5, 6, 7 years left. Nah, Jokic's on the tail end of his prime. He's been in the league for longer than y'all realize. But now people slandering Jokic, and they're talking about how overrated he is, talking about how he got exposed. And then that inevitably invokes a response from the Jokic defense force, you know what I'm saying? So it's like this thing. It's set up just understand the reality. Jokic was hurt. And see, fans don't care about injuries and all that, but like I always say, whether you care 1 + 1 is 2 or not is effing irrelevant. I almost cussed. What you think about reality don't effing matter. Reality is injuries are part of the game and it happened, and all this excuses. You can say something is an excuse, but unless you verify in reality how that's not the reason for your loss. Like say injuries, all that's an excuse. Unless you actually verify that's a reason, then something. Jokic, he is a way better athlete than people realize, but having to condition yourself at a dude like his size and missing as many games as he did, he really had much time to really get back into a rhythm. And people are gonna say, "Oh, you're giving excuses." Yes, I'm being nice. You are not a deep thinker. But also being nice, like in quantum mechanics, what I'm saying? One of my favorite phrases from quantum mechanics, and really the overarching theme of quantum mechanics: shut up and calculate. Don't matter what the hell you think about the data is, just calculate the data. That's the big difference between math and science. Math is about pure data, and science is about how you feel about the data. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't give a fuck how you feel about the data. X is X. You know, like, that just is what it is. So y'all can say that, injury is an excuse, but no, that's just how it is. Because it also goes back to how people don't understand how elite these athletes are. Everything is on the small margins. People just think I see fans, and most toxic fans, comparing them to YMCA. My job, I go with my job. Once again, you are not good at your job compared to these NBA players. So yes, if you're watching this, the chances are you are not even nearly as good as at your job as an NBA player as there. They are the top 400 out of 1 billion people. Like, but if you are not the top 400 people in your profession, then shut the F up. The margins at the top is like any little advantage matters. So any slight step, even a quarter. We watch track and field. Like if you really watch track and field, you understand how much of a difference like those tiny fractions of a second are. So just imagine that to happen because the track and field, you're not thinking about nothing. You're just straight going. And that difference is still that much. So just imagine in a game like freaking basketball, where speed matters like speed differences like this, spacing differences like this matters. Like let's look at Steph Curry shot over Wemby like that. Like the windows are like this. So even being slower for a fraction of a second closes windows at the NBA level. On top of that, the mental stack, all the stuff you have to think about at the same time. The track, you're not thinking about nothing. You're just going straight. Here, like you have to play defense. You have to have court awareness. You have to have clock awareness. You have to timeout. You have to have awareness. Basketball has the highest mental stack of any sport that exists. So you have to think about all these things in short periods of time. There is no stop reset. There's small resets, but it's a free-flowing game. You know what I'm saying? There's always something. You have to always be thinking about something. So when you're like Jokic, you're like a step slower, then it affects you because you're not in shape. Jokic is clearly not in shape. And this year, it seemed like he even came into the year a little bit out of shape. Last year, man, Jokic was in the best shape of his career. Last year was peak physical Jokic. This year, he wasn't as good a shape this year as he was still, of course, he's an amazing athlete. All these dudes. When these people talk about like these big NBA players like they're not great athletes, so Jokic ain't an athlete. Shut your non-thinking self up. Jokic is an incredible athlete. But people use words that they don't even understand the definitions of the words they use. So it's like nobody can actually tell you what an athlete is. Like, well, how do you define athlete? How you say Jokic? How can you say if somebody is or isn't something if you can't even define the thing that they is or isn't? Most people can't really define the words that they use. They just kind of just feel away and they spit something out, the Socratic method should be taught to everybody in school, bro. That'll help you like get the proper definitions for the words you're using so we can communicate better. Because like Jokic is a monster athlete. And whatever your definition is, if your definition doesn't include Jokic being a great athlete, then your definition of athlete is wrong. Like I said, I do have amazing body control, really. Like it's a hard thing to pin down. But I guess I talked about this way longer than I expected. But like I said, I don't ever like that. I just go off the cuff. All natural, you know what I'm saying? But anyway, that's enough of Denver. Just sorry. It is what it is. He was hurt for a while. And now he's back. The Wolves are going to win the series. Wolves are going to win it. So, and I said I called it before the series. It's just once Aaron Gordon went, really once Aaron Gordon went down, then I really knew, okay, it's over with. They don't have the firepower, But, all right. If you made it halfway through, thank y'all. Like, comment, subscribe. The next half of the video is coming up. So, I'll see you after the break. All right, now, Atlanta, New York. All right, y'all, strap in, because I got a lot to say about this one. First things first. You get into this habit, especially when there's like a white coach get fired for a black coach. I don't stick with it. I get it. So I know y'all hate it, but it's just reality. It's just observations of reality. Here's what it is. A lot of times, when white coach get fired from black coach, the next coach is under so much more scrutiny. You know what I'm saying? Than the previous one. Just as a man, we should have kept the other guy. It's a tale as old as time. Mike Brown is just going to be under way more scrutiny. Now, is he perfect? I mean, he's better than he was, when he was in Cleveland. But Mike Brown can't really coach two bigs like that. But this series isn't really on Mike Brown. I mean, he's not perfect. But Quinn Snyder, he's not even good either. He almost blew the last game, man. Hey, watching these tape, bro. Quinn Snyder, because Atlanta fans have been complaining about Quinn Snyder for like years. Like years. And I didn't really get it, but now I'm looking. I was like, okay, I can understand why. But the thing is, there's always some stuff going on. But Mike Brown, it doesn't really matter how the series ends. You shouldn't fire Mike Brown just because you wish you would have kept Thibodeau. You got to judge the shit how it is now. And instability doesn't lead to success. Name me a time where firing coaches actually worked for somebody. Like who actually had a coaching carousel and that shit worked? I don't think it's ever have. But yeah, teams keep doing it. Fans keep wanting it. You know what I'm saying? I don't care how the series ends. Mike Brown should get at least one more year. Like, you can't even build nothing. Dude didn't even have time to bring his players in. You know what I'm saying? He just took over the team. He didn't have time to really put his thing on. And they won the in-season tournament, too. You know what I'm saying? I know people don't care, but, like, how 3 games, but people look at 2 games and say, well, you're a bad coach. And sometimes you got to work with the personnel. Now, of course, Mike Brown, I would never accuse Mike Brown of being a great coach. I would never make that mistake. But he's been pretty good. Not great, just pretty good over the past, about 8 years or so. But all in all, just give him time to grow. And the team will be fine because you need stability. What he does need to put Jose Alvarado in the game. Like I talk about Jose in this channel all the time because it's a perfect way to show what's important in basketball. Like I said in my 3 most important basketball skills series: ball handling, passing, rim protection. And number 4 was shooting. You know what I'm saying? But I didn't even make one of that. That's a spoiler. You know what I'm saying? But, more people watch the shorts and the long forms anyway, so it'll be all right. But Jose Alvarado is one of the best ball handlers in the league. Like I said, he does not get ripped. He's one of the best ball handlers in the league. That's what they need. They need ball handlers. And he's one of the best passers in the league. One of the best playmakers in the league. Teams do not value point guard play. That's how Atlanta. Shout out to Gabe Vincent for providing point guard play. Shout out to Dyson Daniels for providing point guard play. Dyson with like 8 assists. Gabe Vincent didn't have many assists, but he controlled the offense. The offense flows so much better. That's why Gabe Vincent, that he was like the highest plus minus of the team, I'm pretty sure. But no. Dang, I forgot to write down the. I wrote down the stats for some of the Knicks players I want to talk about, but I forgot to write down some of the stats for the ATL players. But or flip, whatever. I forgot to write down some stats I wanted to go. Well, whatever, Yeah, that's the main problem. Ball handling. Like Brunson. Once again, it goes back to these big market teams with their overrated players. Tatum has been overrated for so long. Tatum finally just got into the superstar, and he's like a bottom level superstar. He just got into the superstar tier, but Tatum was finishing top 5 in MVPs and shit just because he's played for Boston, and Boston players get overrated like Tom Brady. If you started, subscribers gone. Yeah, Drew Brees to go. I'm gonna fuck with y'all say. Tom Brady ain't better than Drew Brees. Yeah. If you think otherwise, you're wrong. But big market teams, the players really get overrated. Jalen Brunson, he's always had flaws. He's always, like I said, we pick and choose. Once again, Jose, we pick and choose, and fans say, "Oh, Jose is small." Damn, I kicked it. Jose is small. Blah blah blah. You set up and calculate. You have all these things in your brain of what could and couldn't work, and you don't watch the damn tape and see what's work. You think, "Oh, this should be working." Small players, blah. Even though Brunson's small, but he gets a pass for being a small, bad defender who's really a two-guard playing a point. You can't win when you have a two-guard playing a fucking point guard. It's the main thesis of the channel. Point guard play. Guard play and center play matters. And that's one thing on Mike Brown, too. Mike Brown don't have a... Hey, son, Atlanta don't have a center. They should be going big. They should. Mitchell Robinson, now he has been garbage. Mitchell Robinson has been like one of the worst players in the series. Mitchell Robinson, for the Knicks anyway, he's been like the worst player on the team for the Knicks. That boy, he's been garbage. But, no, I say that, but no. Miles Mother effing Bridges, man. No. I'm gonna get back to the players. Let me finish talking about Mike Brown. You got to get the two bigs in. Atlanta don't have a center. Emeka Okongwu, he's been garbage all series, and he's been in the negative every single game of the series. Emeka Okongwu, he'll get you some points, but he's an awful defender. He's not a big. Like he doesn't offer rim protection. The third most important trait. These three really are like the biggest ones. The next tier is like a whole notch below, but you need ball handling, passing, and rim protection. The three most important skills. It's going to be tough to win in the playoffs or without it, really. Yeah, but you have a ball handlers. Like Clarkson actually gave him good minutes. Jose gave him good minutes. But honestly, Brunson got to take a step back. This team will not win unless Brunson takes a step back because on talent, they're not more talented than Atlanta. That's the thing. Atlanta's is a more talented team. They're not as well coached. I know people were slandering, I'm going to say slander because they've been disrespecting, Mike Brown. Slander is a little higher level. But, some of the disrespect is warranted, but they've been going too far. So, a little disrespect. Snyder ain't really that great either. So, the coaching thing is, about the same. So what's the difference? The talent level. The Knicks are just not as talented, but also not as talented as construction. What is the function of this unit, this system? How effective is it? And Atlanta, they know more what they want to do than the Knicks do, because the Knicks have to find a new way to play. How they've been playing ain't working. So Mike Brown, you got to put in Jose Alvarado. Son, it's just so frustrating watching these games. That's why I say what I say about dudes. I'm going to get to the Atlanta part and tie all this together. Once again, like you said, if you're watching my channel, Drew Holiday, CJ McCollum, and Jose Alvarado, their careers are intrinsically linked, and they're the three best players to really showcase how most people just don't understand basketball. We understand. The small but mighty group that we're growing, and then as we spread the teachings of the Rooster. Basketball is my favorite sport. I love the way they dribble up and down the court. Yeah, see, us and our community here, we understand the intricacies of the lovely game that is basketball. It's a lot more simple. I mean, it's not as simple as people saying. You can't just take a two-guard and put them at the pointers. And that's where Jalen Brunson, they work to the regular season because they get all the foul calls from the New York team. New York's always going to be a good regular season team because they get the most foul calls. Them, LA, Boston, they're always going to do a regular Boston kind of. The refs don't like Jalen Brown. And Jason Tatum kind of evens them out. But before the refs hated them, they used to get a whole bunch of calls too. But the refs don't like them so much anymore. I don't know why. I don't know. I'm not even going to speculate. But that's what the coach needs to do. All right, so now I'm done with the coaching. I did everything with coaching, for the most part. Play your point guard. Pull Brunson back. As a coach, you got to do it. Son, you got to do it. Cat was eating. Cat was plus 22. Like, put him next to McBride. Not McBride, Mitchell Robinson, even if he's trash. He's for some minutes, for some stretches. Maybe Cat being next to Mitchell Robinson will make Mitchell Robinson better. Play him more minutes. I might, if they did play minutes together, I missed it because I didn't see them play any minutes together. But all right, so the players. Once again, Jose got to play, but whose fault is this? Look, Brunson actually, he was a +1. Even though he wasn't getting people involved like he needs to because he's a shooting guard playing a 1 position. He's not really a playmaker like that. He can. He can make assists. He's a better playmaker than some of his critics are saying. No, he is a true combo guard. He's not a 2 guard masquerading as a point guard. Kind of. Even though his point guard skills are bare minimum. I would say like his reading the floor and delivering passes when they need to and setting up the offense for everybody else. I think he still has them at the bare minimum. So at the bare minimum, he's a combo guard. But on top of that, y'all know who y'all know who it is. Miles motherfucking Bridges. They say, look, better lead. We talked about everybody else long enough. Now, so I gotta take a sip. Drink water. How the hell do you play 23 minutes? Go minus 26. 0 points. Well, it's full stat. 0 points, 1 rebound, 2 assists. 4 turnovers. They're going to blame the coach. They're going to blame Brunson. But it's the organization. Trash organizations make trash moves. So like I always say, Drew Holiday, and how I was mad at the Pelicans fans for pushing Drew out the door. Like I said, they cried to the organization to trade Drew for a first-round pick. And like I always say, a bird in the hand is worth 2 in the mother effing bush. If you have a player that you would draft in the first round, then why are you giving up a whole bunch of picks? You know what I'm saying? Why are you trading them for a bunch of picks? You already got the player that you would want to get with the picks anyway. And the reverse of that, and I'm tying it into, Miles Bridges, the reverse of that is, if I see a player that if I draft them in the first round, they could be an okay player. It'd be good. Right? But you're not going to spend 4 first-round picks on that. You know what I'm saying? It's like it's the opposite of having an already good player and wanting to trade them for picks. But going out and getting a player for picks. So if that player isn't somebody that you would draft in the first round, why the fuck are you giving up all these players for him? Like Mikal Bridges, I would never draft this dude in the first round. I don't know where he was drafted, but he's not that caliber dude. He's never been. And New York giving up 4 first-round picks at a second rounder for Miles Bridges, paying him $25 million a year. Worst trade. What? Casuals and once again Lucas stands and all this other shit. Talk about trades, the worst trades of all time. Lucas trade wasn't even close to being the worst trade of all time. There's a whole bunch of trades, you know what I'm saying? This one in particular is up there for me. I still have the Paul George one because Paul George created a dynasty in freaking OKC. I kind of put Donovan Mitchell and Rudy Gobert too in a different category because Utah traded them for like 15 picks and got absolutely nothing. It's been like 4 years and you're still garbage. Utah should be a powerhouse by now. You know what I'm saying? They could have parlayed those picks in something else. But once again, all those trades. Like, I understand giving up a little bit more to get a player. Because sometimes, yes, if you want to get the player you want, when you want him, with the timing you want him, you'll have to give up a little bit extra. So, maybe 2 first rounds from Mikal Bridges. But 4 first-rounders for Mikal Bridges. One of the worst trades ever. And he was a bad reason, you know what I'm saying? If he just made one field goal, New York wins the game. That dude was garbage. It goes back to the Devin Booker and Chris Paul hate, you know what I'm saying? They carried the worst team to ever make the finals. That Phoenix team was the worst team I ever seen make the finals. You really only had 2 good players on that fucking team. DeAndre Ayton should have been good. He just disappeared. It should have been a big 3. But Chris Paul was done at the end. Like I said, he was old. And he already had a brutal playoffs. Jose took everything out of him in that first round. Then he had to carry her, man. But Booker got hurt, so he had to carry without Booker, man. Chris Paul gave everything he had. Like I said, that Phoenix team was carried by Chris Paul and Devin Booker. You had to get so much hate. People pick and choose who they hate and who not. That is not consistent. You know, it's not consistent who they pick and choose to hate. You know, like, all right, now we're going to start talking about Atlanta. So segue to the Atlanta section. See, everything else. Oh, before that, McBride, shout out to McBride. He was 15, 1-1 plus 16. Him and Towns were the only ones that really, I mean, and Brunson was pretty good. Not that bad. He wasn't awful. But now we segue, you know, to the Atlanta part. I have to get on people for giving CJ so much credit. People have been crowding CJ so much. Hey, look, CJ was good in the second half of last game, of game 2. But other than that, he hasn't really been great. But he's been what they needed, though. Like, he's been good. You know, I'm not going to disrespect him, even though he was a -6 in this game. There's a reason why he sat for long stretches, because CJ... Everything I said about CJ, it pops up. Once again, he takes early shots. He's as a primary ball handler. When you handle the ball so much and then shoot so many shots, it takes everybody else out of rhythm. And he's not the greatest defender. Now he's gotten way better on defense, but he's still not great. So they had to take him out of games. Once again, CJ was a -6. He was a -6. And then I can't account. CJ was one of the best guards in the league. No, he was never one of the best guards in the league. People have the snapshots, the snapshot mentality. They take a player when they're being great. Look how great this player is. They were always this good, and they're always going to be this good. And the same thing, if a player does bad, oh, look how bad he is. He's always this bad. And always going to be this bad. Another example of this, Jonathan Kuminga. Weird as shit, bro. It's like, no, they'll say one bad play, his haters. Oh, he's terrible. Look at him. He's always bad. He's always going to be bad. It's like players get better over time. And players evolve over time. Some get worse. That's why you have to observe them. You know, it's weird to see people pick and choose. They give CJ so much credit, but not understanding the entire team structure. And like I said, the goal isn't to put CJ down. The goal is to understand how to build a system of success. Success is not individual greatness. Success is building a system that will generate higher probabilities of success over time. That is what true success looks like in any way. Like whether you're networking, money making, finances, sports, or getting better at a skill, like anything. That's just how life works. You know what I'm saying? So, and in order for the system to succeed, you can't just look at individual parts. Yes, individually, CJ can get his points. He'll get his points. But you got to get other people involved because they aren't really playmakers. You know what I'm saying? If you had other players who could like generate their own shot like that, then yeah, okay, sure, go ahead, CJ, get your buckets, because then everybody can go get theirs. And there are teams built like that where it's like it's a by committee. But then the only teams with a whole bunch of ball handlers could do that. And Atlanta, they have ball handlers, but like not enough scoring ball handlers like that. Even though the Kill Alexander Walker's supposed to be, but he's been garbage. The Kill Alexander Walker has been absolutely trash. We go get to him, but let's talk about we get to him and the Congo. Let's finish talking about CJ and Jose and how Jose in this game, in this series, all their careers are linked. Jose was a +2. He needs to be on the court. You know? But CJ and Jose's not gonna ever get credit for being a good passer, playmaker. They need the playmaking. They need the passing. Same with Jordan Clarkson, providing point guard skills. And yeah, he's also a bucket too, you know what I'm saying? But he plays control now. Jordan Clarkson has added so much just smoothness to his game. I love Jordan Clarkson's game, bro. I love his game. He is a true combo, bro. He's like just a true basketball player, you know what I'm saying? I love Jordan Clarkson's game. He needs to get more minutes. But because that Atlanta, look at Dyson, doing all the little things that CJ just don't do, which is fine. But that's why CJ has to be controlled in spurts, which is what they did. People say, why did he play much of the third? This they were rolling without him. That's why he was a -6, because the team was better with him off the floor. But no, but it's not to bring CJ down. It's to bring perspective to the conversation, so that because these conversations affect GMs, they affect teams. Teams watch this and listen. My dumbass Pelicans listen to people talk about this and go pay CJ the max money, and he fucks our team up. And then we listen to these people who don't give proper respect to Drew Holiday and Jose Alvarado like they should, and we end up getting rid of them. And then the Bucks don't end up getting rid of them because dumb organizations listen to dumb fans and dumb front offices. You know what I'm saying? They listen to these dumbass content creators who don't know what they're talking about. He gets buckets. You have to generate a system of success. At the end of the day, you need everybody. In a 7-game series, you need everybody. You need to move the ball. Like this ain't the 90s. This ain't the 2000s. The early 2000s. You can't, one superstar ain't going to carry you. People haven't got this in their head anymore. Like, the superstars is less valuable now than ever. But for some reason, people really think, oh, why is he carrying this team? You can't. Unless you're Steph Curry. Steph Curry is the only player that can really carry bums. You know what I'm saying? Like I say, he the GOAT. Steph Curry the GOAT. Him, Kobe, Jordan, GOAT. Kobe Bryant and Steph Curry, the only ones that can really carry. And Jordan's a GOAT too, but he's not really going to carry a roster that bad. Because he didn't really have to the outside shoot like that. You know what I'm saying? And but with spacing that bad, when you carrying a team, spacing's going to be bad. So Kobe and that stuff, they shooting, you know what I'm saying? They're the only two that can really carry garbage. I don't want to hear LeBron in 2018. Most overrated carry job in the history. Once again, the refs helped them out. They should have lost to Indiana. But the refs, being the refs. Shout out Victor Oladipo, one of my favorite players of all time, who got shafted by injuries in the world, man. I saw him recently, man. Son, he was crying, though. He was reflecting over his career. I almost said Jabari Parker. It was either him or Jabari Parker. Shout out to Jabari Parker, too. But, yeah, that's why it's important to understand why causality. It's important to understand why teams are successful, especially at the guard position. You got to play your ball handlers, playmakers. Kuminga, he's been doing good, and he's becoming a better ball handler. And ball handler is the most important skill in the game. The more ball handlers you have, the better. Like, CJ can afford to do his thing if you have dudes that can create their own shot. But if you have a whole bunch of dudes that can't create their own shot, or in the playoffs forgot how to create their own shot, like Nickeil Alexander-Walker, then you need somebody else to play with. That's why Dyson over here in the plus, he had 10 assists, you know what I'm saying? He had 8 assists, and the other boy had 9. Jalen Johnson, 9 or 10. Jalen Johnson played way better. So, all right, I've talked about CJ enough. CJ Drew don't ever get the credit he deserves. People went out of their way. Okay, one more thing about CJ. People been glazing CJ so much, but I watched Drew Holiday lock up Wemby. And Wemby hit his head. But before that, Drew forced the charge. And he was 1 of 3 getting bodied. And nobody gives a fuck, because people only use defense to talk trash about a player, or to they'll bring up Zach LaVine. I call them the hate quartet. You know what I'm saying? Zach LaVine, LaMelo Ball, John Morant, and Zach LaVine. Oh, Trae Young. Yeah. They bring up defense for these dudes. John Morant was the best defender out of those 4 dudes when he's healthy. And yet Jalen Brunson is allowed to be garbage. But people bring it up, but it's not so vitriolic. I don't think it should be vitriolic at all. But the vitriol the other players get for not playing defense compared to Brunson. And like I said, Drew Holiday doesn't get credit for locking up Wemby, but CJ gets credit for he almost lost both of the games, even though he won. That's crazy. CJ both won and lost both of the games. That's just weird as shit. like CJ turned that bitch over. He took some bad shots at the end of the Atlanta game, like he does, because he's not a point guard. So when you're pressured, you're gonna revert back to who you are. Like Kevin Durant, he was passing the ball really well in the second half of the season after the burner shit. But then when he got pressured, what happened? He reverted back to his non-passing ways. Same with Golden State. They would have beat Golden State if him and Westbrook were actually passing the ball. Which they were when it was up 3-1. And then when they tried to close it out, they reverted to hero ball, 2-on-5. And Golden State came back and won. Because when you're pressured, you're going to revert back. If you don't practice your new habits enough, you're going to revert back to your old ones. So CJ, he's gotten better. The big thing I stress about CJ is that he got better at being a playmaker in Atlanta. It's not the player he is now is not the player he's always been. It's I'm trying to get people to understand. They take a snapshot. Oh, this is how he is. So this is how he's always been. No! He's improved his passing. He's improved his playmaking. He's improved his defense. So give credit to people for improving instead of saying, oh, he's always been underrated. He hasn't always been this guy. He's been garbage. He's been garbage. And he still hasn't even been good in this series, all in all. He's been good enough and good in places where they needed him. Like clutch, and even though he almost cost the game, but he went up and won it back with Melo style. So, all right, so now it's enough of them. Now let's get to Okongwu and Nickeil Alexander-Walker, you know what I'm saying? I don't know if they could just bench him because I don't know who else they got. Can they pick up somebody off the street? Just go get Dwight Howard, man. Get him out of retirement. Now, Okongwu, that dude is not... He's a good offensive player, though, so he's good to just put, pressure in because the Knicks aren't deep, so you need constant run and constant pressure. As the series go on, the Knicks need to win the next two. The Knicks don't win the next two games, they lose the series. They don't have the depth to really run with these Atlanta athletes for all this entire series. So Okongwu's good there because he's a nice athlete that he's very mobile. He's all over the court. You know what I'm saying? I watched him do a move. I'm like, damn, he's a center. He's really a power forward, but I was like, shit, he can move low key, or high key, mid key. I don't watch enough to really know what key it is, but I would say low key, you know what I'm saying? But yeah, I don't know what's up with them. I'm very disappointed in Nickeil Alexander-Walker. You got championship experience. So he was with the Nuggets. I don't get it. Was he with the Nuggets? I think he was with the Nuggets for a little bit. I know he was with Minnesota. He was in Minnesota. Yeah. Yeah, he was in Minnesota. So he doesn't have championship experience. But he was with Minnesota for years. He had deep playoff runs. And he's still not asked to be that guy. He still got 3 other dudes who could be that guy at one time. You got Kuminga, Jalen Johnson, and CJ, who could all turn up at any point in time. So I don't know what's going on with him. But anyway, I'm approaching 40 minutes. So I'm gonna go get to the other games for my shorts. Check out my Instagram if you made it this far. DJ Rooster 504. So, have a great day. It's Jazz Fest weekend. Be real, be easy. Be real easy. I'm your boy, DJ Rooster. Wake your ass up. The walls never sleep, baby. Yeah.